We found him! Harry Houdini, a master of escape and illusion, who ultimately could not escape death. Welcome to Highland Park, deep in the heart of Queens, or maybe Brooklyn. It's not clear. It's right on the border. Here in Highland Park, there's a series of interconnected greenways, including golf courses, cemeteries, and parks, where a number of famous people are buried. Running through the middle of the park is the Jackie Robinson Parkway, commemorating Jackie Robinson, the first African-American baseball player to play in Major League Baseball in the modern era. Another person known for his incredible athletic feats is the most famous magician of all time, Harry Houdini, also buried here at the Machpelah Cemetery. We're gonna go check out his grave by following a series of park pathways and trails, some of them official and some of them unofficial and running through the woods. So let's go check it out. It's hard to believe with this idyllic scene behind me that we are still in New York City, but we are. This is the remains of the Ridgewood Reservoir, once Brooklyn's primary water source back when the city was growing quickly and there was very little access to fresh water. It became so important that during the Civil War, soldiers had to guard this site because they were concerned that someone would try and poison it and the citizens of Brooklyn. Later, Brooklyn incorporated into New York City and had access to upstate water sources from the Catskills and the Delaware River, and this site became less prominent. Now that it's drained, it's overgrown into a birch forest, one of the few on Long Island. And it's reputed to have a number of trails that interconnect to the cemeteries nearby. We're going to try and find those trails, get to the cemetery and Houdini's grave. Here at Kings and Queens, we're all about adventure, taking the road less traveled by. So we're going to step off the Parks Department trail system and into an unofficial dirt trail that leads to the cemeteries and eventually to Houdini's grave. To get to the cemeteries from the park, we have to step through a hole in this chain link fence. Let me see if I can make it. This narrow trail is a little bit hard to get through, especially when you're as tall as I am. But we're hoping the payoff is worth it. Looks like people have been using this for recreational activities. Can't really say what since this is a family show, but I'll leave that up to your imagination. We're here in the woods of Highland Park and we haven't found Houdini's grave yet, but we have found a pet cemetery. The tree says October 1st, 2017, Nana, R.I.P. The grave that was dug here is pretty shallow. You can actually see what appears to be some of Nana's fur, or maybe a towel that she was wrapped in. Life is tough. Gotta find somewhere to bury Nana. This was the right spot for her. Nana, be well. We've made it out of the trail system. We're now in the cemeteries, which span miles and contain thousands and thousands of people. We've got a lot of work to do to find Houdini's grave, but we're on the case. We might have to go back into the trail system, so let's follow along and find Houdini. We're making our way over towards Houdini's grave, what we think is Houdini's grave. We don't really know exactly where he's buried. Might have to go back into the woods again to figure it out. We're seeing a lot of condom wrappers.
It's like our thing, right? We've been noticing a lot lately.
Yeah, it seems to be a theme. Whenever you give a New Yorker more than 10 feet of space and some privacy, some condom wrappers just tend to pop up. I don't know why. It's quite strange. We finally made it to the family gravesite of Harry Houdini, who was born Eric Weiss in 1876 in Budapest. Harry Houdini was an amazing man. He started off as a prince of the air, a trapeze artist at 9 years old. At 12, he ran away, jumped a train, and disappeared for a year. No one knows where he went. By 17, he had perfected his oeuvre, escaping from anything. Handcuffs, straitjackets, even turned upside down in a tank of water. As he entered his 20s, he traveled the US and Europe, amazing audiences all over the world. His life was filled with success, and he died at 52 from peritonitis, from a blow to the stomach by a Canadian college student. He's buried here with his wife, Wilhelmina Beatrice. It's reputed that here at his family burial plot, there's a lever which, when opened, opens up a chamber of magical secrets. We want to try and find that today, so I thought the first place we would try and check would be this urn in the middle of the plot, which is covered with mud. And so I'm looking here to see if there's a lever or some other means of opening up this chamber of secrets. Nothing. So we'll move on, try and find some other likely spots. Go up to the bust here. If I was him, I would maybe try the bow tie, tweak the bow tie. Nothing happening. Maybe the seal. Nope. Nothing happening. And then finally, at this lovely, beautiful statue of his wife, she has her hands in what looks like maybe a bowl or a bird basket. So let's check that. There's a rock in there. There's a few coins from some devoted fans. But, no lever. Looks like for now, the Chamber of Secrets remains secret. This is the crest of the Society of American Magicians. Harry was the 9-time president of the organization and was its biggest proponent in the early 20th century. After he died and was buried here, his bust was stolen a number of times, and the society stepped up to fund the restoration of his site. In fact, David Copperfield put up a multi-million-dollar donation to keep up the family plot. More recently, that money ran out, and now the cemetery is sending the society a bill every year, and they won't pay. So what's going to happen to the family plot? We just don't know. We've gone from the Highland Park Reservoir through the woods, and we found Houdini's grave. Learned so much about an amazing New Yorker. Stick with us as we continue to explore kings and queens.